Hello, and welcome to episode 6 of Digital Suffering Podcast. This is the second part for our E3 coverage. I am one of your co-hosts. I am Steven Something. Our other co-host is Mr. PhamtomLimb. Say hello. Or don't.
Hello.
Oh, there he is. Hello, right. Let's start off with some news. Tell us the news.
Well, I'll tell you. I'll talk about one. Yeah, Shenmue 3.
Shenmue 3.
Right. So there's a slight
delay.
Well, I don't know about that.
Okay,
I think it's like either end of this year or 2020, or I don't know. It's burgeoning on the horizon, shall we say?
Yep.
Although there was no footage, as far as I can tell, so it might look like shit. It might look like the 2001 Dreamcast version.
It might look like the Dreamcast graphics, but
I don't have a problem with that. But the fact that we've waited
this long, they can't afford to up-res the textures.
Right. So this is part of it, right? So there's a few people whose, I don't know, underwear's too tight, or their brain hasn't fully developed, or have just got a slight bee in their bonnet about the fact that news came out that the PC version of the port,
yes,
right, which we all knew was going to happen because PC gets everything.
Yeah.
What's this?
PC Master Race.
Exactly. What is this exclusivity that all these little console boys were talking about?
Yeah.
Boys and girls. Anyway, so it's come to light that Shenmue is most likely going to be, even if it's just for a period of time, an Epic Games Store exclusive.
Okay.
Which got some little boys' panties up in a bunch.
Because we've not had exclusives before.
Because they've said, oh, but what about the Kickstarter? What's that got to do with it? Like, the Kickstarter was to get the game made. Where the game is procured from, you know, you could buy it from Walmart in America, or you could buy it from GameStop in America. You don't get up in arms about the fact that you can only buy it in Walmart, or you can only buy it in GameStop, rather. It's kind of weird, right? And all these people are saying, oh, well, we thought it was coming out on Steam. Who cares what you thought?
Just install the launcher and get the game.
Like, you don't have it already anyway. But this is like the Division 2. Like, there was people that went onto the Division page on Steam and downrated the game and wrote, like, commentary that is usually exclusive to YouTube. And you know what I'm talking about.
There was YouTube commentary in the Steam store.
Right?
It was like
and it's
an
like,
outrage.
I hate this game, and profanities abound. And why did Steam let this happen? And it's like, what are you talking about? Like, seriously, who cares?
These people don't know how to run.
It's coming out on the system that you own. That's it. That's all you should give a shit about.
Maybe these people really hate installing another. I've got like 4 different launchers on my PC. I've got like.
Is that all?
The next, at least. But I don't play many games. That's the thing. Yeah. But I got Nexon Games has a launcher.
I don't know that one.
Exactly, but that's it. There are lots of launchers. Like, it's just a piece of crap that gets between you and playing the game.
Exactly.
Install the crap, get the game, get on with your life.
Steam, Uplay, Origin, Epic. I've forgotten many.
Yes.
It's just like, who...
Ubisoft.
Yeah, that's Uplay.
Oh, yeah, Uplay. Yeah.
Who cares? Right? It is Battle.net. Like, who cares?
Battle.net.
Right? It is just a means to an end. And anyone that actually has a problem with this should, like, check themselves.
Well, that's it. I mean, if it was like, oh, I own an Xbox and it's only coming out on the PlayStation, that's a something. But it's like,
sure,
I own a PC and it's still coming out on PC, but I'm going to complain about it.
What did you want to do? Run down to the store on day of release and buy a copy, did you? I don't think so.
They could just buy a physical copy. Job done. then they don't have to worry about the Epic Store. It's like, I've got a physical copy.
You say that, but if you buy a physical copy of a game,
It'll make you install.
That is a game that is only available on Steam.
It'll make
you install Steam in order to launch the game. So you can't get around that.
That is sick, and this is why people buy consoles, I guess, for the exclusives.
Sure.
Anyway,
not for the exclusive.
Moving on from that cesspool of hate that is the Steam Store or YouTube, but mainly the Steam Store. What's the next piece of news? Or was that it?
Oh, that was my
Rant of the day.
That was the thing that I took away from all this time and effort and money and positioning, going into the culmination of this. What already was planned out as by Yu Suzuki so many years ago when it came out on the Dreamcast,
many years ago,
as a trilogy of games, and finally people who have waited almost 20 years to see the fruition of it, and there are little butthurts out there getting their eyebrows crinkled up, their foreheads in a bunch about what format you can download it from. Honestly, these people are not going to buy the game. The people who are complaining are not buying the game. It's as simple as that, in my opinion.
Well, if they're not going to buy the game, then why would the developers care about them? Because
I don't think the developers do, because they've clearly made that thing.
Yeah, but that's it. It's like, if you pay for the game, then you care about the game.
This is another thing that a few weeks back. It's more than a few weeks, I guess. Anyway, when Borderlands 3, and they said, oh, it's exclusive on the Epic Store, at least at the beginning, blah, 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 there might be a change later on, so on and so on. And some people said to me, people I know said, oh, that's crazy, I really wish that didn't happen. And I said, why? Do you have £1 million on your Steam account that you can't buy the game with, that was your game buying money, and you're locked into Steam? Then you're an idiot. That's it. Like, you've probably already got the Epic Store, and if you don't, just download it.
They give away free games.
You downloaded Origin like an idiot for a game that was for free. So don't tell me you're not going to download it for a game you really want. It's as simple as that.
They don't want it enough.
Well, clearly not. And if they do or die. That's basically it. Just do or die.
Yeah. Do or do not, there is no try, as a wise man once said.
There is try. That bogey with legs. Don't know what the F he's talking about.
Like, he's wiser than you when he was alive, a long time ago.
He's not real. He's two-dimensional, in my opinion, in terms of personality.
No, he is filled with depth of something.
Which version of him? The Muppets version or the CGI version?
The Muppet
changed
version.
Size drastically.
Well, because there were issues with scaling. Well, they had said that.
Yeah, there were issues with scaling because crazy people made a bad movie.
When they brought him back for episode 1, because all the originals had run away. So this way in episode 1 he looks.
That's what happens to Muppets.
This way he looks kind of, because he was made of like some kind of rubber. But this way he looks kind of weird in the first one because
no, he looks weird in the first one because he's weird and because CGI was crap.
No, but they CGI him in the second and third one.
Also, in the original movie where he appears, that first movie he appears in,
yeah,
you can actually see where
Number 5.
you know where sometimes you see with Kermit or other Muppets where the person closes their hand too much and you can almost see the hands like crinkling within the Muppet's face.
Dude, you're like ruining 1,000 childhoods.
There's a point where Yoda, it happens a couple of times. You see the rubber folding in, and it's like,
I refuse to believe.
Well, I don't care. It happened. It's real. Unlike him.
Anyway, moving swiftly on. Let's get on to...
What was your news? Was there a newser?
Yes, E3 happened.
Right.
There was lots of the games. People were gaming.
Shall we
it was
move on?
gamified. Yes, let's move on to the onto the review section. Right. First up is Outer Worlds.
The Outer Worlds.
The Outer Worlds. No, it's not like Outer Worlds in general. It's the specific Outer Worlds. Looking at the trailer.
You don't need to shout.
Looking at the trailer. My first one.
You don't need to mumble.
Okay, I'll try and keep it a good average. Looking at the trailer, my first thoughts were, it's BioShock, but in space. But that wasn't quite right. It turns out it's Fallout in space, which amuses my compatriots greatly. But I mean, you look at it, and the more you watch it, it's an alternate future. So it's obviously extending that Fallout thing. What if there was no Fallout, but that 1950s, 60s continued and became, what is that art style? Not Nouveau Riche, not Nouveau Riche. What's this called? It's the Art Deco.
Art Deco, yeah.
The Art Deco art style became the norm, and that was that was the sci-fi of their world. And you look at the characters, and it's like, it kind of looks like it's done in the Fallout engine, doesn't it? That's necessarily a problem.
I'm not disinterested because of this, right? I am interested in the game because I liked Fallout. I didn't play all of them. I played Fallout 4, which I don't know I think everybody loves New Vegas, but New Vegas looks hideous to me. I played Fallout 4, a fair bit of Fallout 4. I played the game through once and did everything I possibly could and explored everything I possibly could. And I even put all that on YouTube. But this it just seems like it's Fallout. There is almost nothing. It's just another Fallout game. It just isn't Fallout. It's not made by the same studio. It's made by some of the same people, but it's not made by the same studio. And it wasn't intended as a Fallout sequel. It was, this is our take on something we've done before.
Yeah.
With our ideas.
This is sci-fi, but
some of their ideas are exactly the same as what you would have encountered in Fallout.
Yeah. It's like taking the Fallout thing, and like I said, what if there was no nuclear war, and they invented space travel instead, and they flew into space and continued the thing is, it looks so much like it looks like a mod for the game almost, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if you said this was the new Fallout to somebody, they would go and watch this trailer. They would go, "Oh wow, okay, cool." They would not believe it.
Yeah.
There's the art style, the kitschy advertising / characters. I can't think of a thing that doesn't look like it, except the spaceships.
Well, I suppose the spaceships. I guess it's not. They're very sort of clunky. They don't follow the Art Deco style. It
even looked like just then we just saw. It looked like the suits that you can get into.
Yeah. The robot looked like the power suits almost, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, stick with what you know, I guess.
Interesting enemies. Interesting guns.
The ability to slow down time.
Energy gun, yeah. I think there's a couple of powers in here as well.
I wonder if it's like the VAT system where you can.
I did wonder about that, but
for targeting.
Nothing I saw
indicated that
was in the game.
It was more like slow down time, and you can aim better. It's more shooty as opposed to the RPG elements, but it does say it's an RPG, so. There is
actually. I watched the interview with I think it was Leonard Boyarsky, who worked on Diablo 3 as well, incidentally, and he said that they were going back into a lot of RPG elements as opposed to being skill progression things. That there was RPG. They were going back to that.
Yes.
Like in a more in a bigger way.
Okay, so back to their roots with the Fallout and the what's it called? What was it? Not Kota. It was the was it Knights of the Old Republic? The Obsidian did. I lose track. Yeah, Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah.
Which was RPGs dressed up as action games. So like it's gonna be heavy on the numbers in the background on that one. Okay.
Can we just address how many Final Fantasy games there were at E3? Are at E3?
I didn't count any because I didn't watch their announcements yet. I'm guessing there was one.
So obviously the Final Fantasy remake.
7, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I need to be more specific, don't I? Yeah. Sorry. The Final Fantasy 7 remake, which somebody muttered something about it being on 2 Blu-ray discs. And they were gasping like it was a big thing. That's like 100 gigs of storage, potentially. Yeah, there's PC games. What is it? One of the Modern Warfares, the last one that was in space. Half of it was in space.
Yeah,
I believe that was like 115 gigabytes.
Holy crap!
And that was over a year ago. Get with the times, PlayStation.
Holy crap!
Sony.
Yeah, but I mean,
Square, whoever.
Our assets are getting out of control.
Sure. I mean, the game doesn't look... But I heard that, and then I also heard it was still episodic. I don't see how it can be.
You are going to end up with like...
You know what they're going to do?
A coaster stack of
It's going to be like some game developers, Capcom, where they give you the content in the game.
And they just unlock it.
And then they just unlock it. Which is garbage.
You paid for the unlock key? You get episode 2.
Yeah. You already had it installed, taking up precious space on your machine.
Yeah, horse armor.
Then, I mean, it was never ending. It was another remake.
Which was?
Final Fantasy VIII remaster.
So the Final Fantasy VIII, for all the Fantasy VIII lovers out there, you are going to get your chance with...
what was his name? It was something stupid. Squall.
Squall, yes.
What a twat. With the absolute worst weapon ever, a revolver with a blade coming out of it, so you couldn't shoot people because it was probably too heavy.
It was... No, but it was...
And you couldn't swing it because it would get ripped out of your hand.
Strong biceps and...
And a grip like an eagle.
Yeah. He was... very good at what he does.
And a stupid jacket with fur on the top.
I was not able to empathise with him. He was not empathisable.
The only one I care about, which I really wanted to play the original but never got round to buying it on the GameCube because, who's got the time? Who's got the time? I've got a GameCube somewhere. Crystal Chronicles. Which... some people did say at the time when it came out on the GameCube that it was like Final Fantasy Light, but I never got that. It was just a different... it was going back to its sort of Secret of Mana and Final Fantasy VI. And
the earlier episodes.
Yeah, it was in that vein rather than this broody teenage...
angst.
Yeah, like who's got time?
Okay.
And then there was Final Fantasy Brave... Exvius... War of the Visions. I don't even know what that means. I've said it out loud and I don't even know the words.
It's an RPG.
Well, probably.
And it's set in the Final Fantasy something. And I am not too familiar with the Exvius series. Wait, the Exvius ones...
I'll have some video of
promise
these.
You lose
of all of these, I believe.
Exvius. You tend to lose track... because the thing is, they just bolt more and more. Final Fantasy Brave Exvius is a free-to-play role-playing game for iOS, Android, and Amazon Fire devices. A spin-off of the Final Fantasy series. So it's mobile, which is why you don't care or know anything about it. But
I guessed it was mobile.
It sounds very familiar. The problem is everything blends into one after a while.
Especially with Final Fantasy.
Especially with Final Fantasy. At least with the main series, you can delineate by characters and stuff.
Yes. Just about.
Yeah. unfortunately, we know nothing about them. Anyway, what else? Any others, or is that?
I think that was it. I think
It sounds like a
4 Final Fantasy games with 3 new additions.
Yeah, I think that the Brave Exodus one is the sequel. Then, yeah, tactical. It's a tactical RPG. Holy moly!
What does that even mean?
You know, it's like grid based. You know, like have you ever seen like Final Wars, Advance Wars?
Oh yeah. My favourite iteration of a game like that was a game on the
Ogre Tactics and stuff like that.
Sega Saturn called Mysteria.
Okay.
Really good game.
And it was sort of like grid based.
Yep.
Yeah.
Turn based grid. Yep.
Yeah. So
the whole bit.
So that's what some War of Visions is going to be. It's
and that was the last time I wanted to play one of those games.
Draws inspiration from the Final Fantasy Tactics series. So there you go.
Speaking of which, what was it? Breath of Fire?
Breath of Fire?
Is that the new one?
But
they also, I think it's coming out on the Switch.
Breath of Fire?
Is it Breath of Fire?
I don't think it is.
It's something like that. It's one of those very sort of...
Breath of Fire is a role-playing game developed by Capcom in 1993, so it's not that one.
Oh, it's not that one. It's
I think I know.
I literally was watching footage of it 2 days ago.
I've
seen so many games in the last 5 days that my brain is mush.
Yeah. Can you imagine actually being at E3
just trying to hoover it up with your eyes? What's this game?
You'd be just like...
You have to record everything.
You'd be like super tired by the end of that. Okay, let's move on with the Final Fantasy. I'm sure we'll remember what the that game is.
We will or we won't.
We will, we won't, and if we don't remember, then we won't talk about it. Next up is Sky, Children of Light. This is brought to us by That's Game Company, which is what they're called, as opposed to me being like vague about them. They are the creators of the game Journey, which is now available on PC. The visuals for this game are absolutely gorgeous. It's a very sort of dreamy Miyazaki type, Ghibli style world. It's called manta rays. The characters are they have like cloaks that allow them to fly.
Very childlike.
It's very childlike. It sort of gives them a sort of appearance like birds almost, or like sort of flowers in the wind sort of thing. Did they do Flower as well? Or was that a different company?
Did they do what? Sorry?
Flower.
I don't think so.
Oh, that's the other game. Anyway, so it's sort of third-person action adventure exploration game. It's sort of like Journey. It seems to be sort of wordless, and you sort of explore these fantastical landscapes, like this scene here with the sort of the manta rays in sort of a temple in darkness, and just seeing them like float through. You said it reminded you of a mix of several games, didn't you?
Yeah, there's kind of like a Wind Waker vibe to it.
Yes, the Wind Waker sort of cell shading.
But then there's something else as well. I can't put my finger on.
You said Crystal Chronicles?
Yeah, something? Kind of Crystal Chronicles, and kind of who made the game where you've got the grip meter and you climb the Titans and you kill them?
Oh, the game it's called
Shadow of the Colossus.
Shadow of the Colossus. Yeah.
And what was the first one called?
Ico.
That's it. So yes, it has almost Ico in its way.
Like the scenery is it's like
simple, but
if this was the land that Ico is set in,
yeah,
these people are traversing that land,
yeah,
but in a Wind Waker style,
yeah, and
as opposed to the Ico style, which was sort of similar, simplistic, but less cartoon-like.
Not in that cartoon vibe. Yeah, and it kind of like I suppose the Last Guardian. They're all kind of interlinked. The Last Guardian has a very similar feel, where it's almost like a ruin, and you're traversing it in that sort of respect. But this is more. This is a more nature-based, lots of natural
It is. The company also did Flower. Flower was kind of weird. It was
I
like
haven't seen that one.
it was a PlayStation game. It was very simple. You sort of controlled like a flower, and you sort of floated in the wind, and you went through like meadows and stuff, and it was very like relaxing.
Was it ASMR based?
I
could hear the wind if you put headphones on.
I think it predates the definition of ASMR, but I hadn't played it, but I do remember seeing it, and it was like, oh, this looks very nice.
I have to say, watching this trailer for the second time did remind me of a feature that was in Journey, where another person could come into your game and play with you, and it does seem like there's cooperative play in this. You can see in the trailer there's 2 people opening a door together, and then 3 people, and then 4 people, and there's one point where they're doing synchronized flying, and there must be at like 6 people in that, and they all look different. They're sort of unique look. So yeah, maybe there's a cooperative.
Yeah. Anyway, so this is what Flower looks like.
Okay, so Flower looks like it's
like a close up.
The same world that this is in, except on a miniature scale.
But see, it's like you control a petal.
That looks.
And you wake up. You make flowers bloom.
This should only have ever been a tech demo.
It looks like a tech demo, isn't it? I think there's slightly more to what we're describing.
Okay,
but
so he's dragging petals away with him. Is he going to complete and make a whole flower? Oh, is he going to get 3 petals here? Oh my god, look at him go.
But yeah, so you know what I mean. It's that
Sure.
It's that whole same. I mean, you could say all these things are related almost, because they've got a very similar aesthetic, and they've got the same like dreamy sort of airy feel to it. But yes, so I mean you could say, well, they kind of used the engine for that, and then developed Sky for it. But yeah, I sort of saw that, and it immediately stood out to me as something to keep an eye out for. It's going to be out on multiple platforms, but coming out iOS first, but will make its way to Android, PC, and I think Mac and consoles as well. They're going for the whole field, which is good news. Exclusives can get ugly sometimes.
There's no such thing as an exclusive anymore, unless it's made by an in-house studio.
Yeah, unless it's a first party studio, then everyone wants to rake in the money from the other platforms. Right, next up is a bit of
Zelda Link's Awakening.
Yes, Zelda's Link's Awakening. I played this on the Game Boy.
Another remake of a Zelda game. Who thought, eh?
Yeah, but this one they've done it up, and while the sort of initial view it was like it looks a bit plasticky. That's the idea. They made it so that it's very toy-like. If you've ever played Octopath Traveler, it has the whole depth of field where they blur the top and lower part of the screens to give it the whole tilt shifted look, so that they look, all the characters look like miniature toys, and you're controlling that, and as you watch it becomes normalized and it looks absolutely adorable.
Yeah, it's charming.
And it makes me want to play the game again. When I played it many years ago, I got right up to the final dungeon. It's essentially a boss rush, and by boss 5 or 6 I get defeated, and after a few times of that you say, well, I'm just going to put it to one side, come back to it later, and you never do. So I never found out how it ends, although you can probably guess that Link wins in the end. And it's like, if I get this again, will I be like, oh, this game's beautiful, get all the way to the end, and then get stuck again. It also has a dungeon builder, which seems to be a unique feature, but it doesn't seem like you can share them like Mario Maker.
As yet,
they obviously
they were. It sounded like they were keeping it under wraps.
Yeah,
I can't imagine why they wouldn't share it.
Yeah, it's pointless to be able to create your own dungeon only for you to solve it, or have to have people come to your house and play it, or come to you and play it local, because that would just kill it would just kill it. It wouldn't make it a worthwhile feature. And I mean, it's not like they don't have infrastructure and code in place for level sharing like they do with the Mario Maker series. So it's hopefully it is something that they expand to allow for downloadable levels. But then again, it's like is it limited only to the dungeons? Because I mean, some of the dungeons that they have, while they're grid based, they have like multiple levels with lifts, and you like could go up to like level 5, and then you go down some stairs, and then down to level 3 and stuff like that. It's like, how much control do you get? Because when we watched the interview, the brief mentioned, it sounded like almost like you take existing dungeons and you rejig what's in there already.
Yeah, it's like tile sets.
So you can move like chests and stuff and keys around so that you complete the dungeon in a different order. And if it's only that's a feature that'll keep you amused for like half an hour, and then you'll never touch it again. As opposed to a full-on fledged where you say, right, make a water dungeon.
That seems more like a DS thing less than a Switch thing.
Yeah. But we'll see. I mean, it might be that when they do a high definition version of A Link to the Past, they might when they do,
not if, when.
Yeah, although they've done that already, haven't they? Didn't they? Or am I mentioning things?
No, they did Wind Waker. They did a high def Wind Waker.
Okay. It's the season of remakes.
This is basically A Link to the Past anyway.
It's absolutely just. I mean, if you just change the tiles down and the characters and things down, it's
very in a very similar vein.
Yeah, but still,
does more Zelda's good Zelda.
Yeah, it does look good.
Except for Zelda's cold dead eye. Sorry, not Zelda's. Link's cold dead eyes. they are just black dots.
But he is a toy, so you wouldn't expect him to. And oh yes, merchandising. If there's not a factory somewhere on the planet churning out mini replicas of some of the characters from this game in anticipation for the release, then someone at Nintendo needs to be fired because they are not doing their job. Just thought I brought that out there. Also,
this game's been made.
It's been made.
And it's coming out in September. September 20th this year.
Okay.
So, you can play it imminently.
Imminently. I as soon as I acquire a Switch from someone, then and the game, they'll have to buy the game when I steal their Switch. That will simplify things, perhaps. Right, on to the next thing. Is that the next thing? That is the last thing?
Well, you were talking about Doom Eternal.
Doom Eternal. You're going to obviously put on some Doom Eternal footage in the background.
Sure.
Doom Eternal. I was psyched for it because they've been showing previews for a bit now, and Doom Eternal. I sort of watched it and I was like, it seems to be getting more arcadey and platformy than I'd like. I mean, they added. I don't know if you saw it. It didn't sound like you did. They had a feature whereby certain walls are marked as climbable, and if you jump at them,
I think I saw that.
Yeah, and you can climb them, and then you can jump from one climbable wall to another in platforming sections.
Yeah, that you see that just.
And while first person, I mean, obviously you run around and you're walking on platforms and stuff anyway, and you're shooting. That's fine, but when they make it like you're doing jumping around because it's a platformer, that seems to lose some of the essence of what Doom really is, which is just shooting demons in the face until they're dead, or punching them in the face. I do like the shotgun modification. You weren't a big fan. But yeah, I didn't have a problem with it. It's just a way to make the shotgun more lethal. And plus it's a good gap closer. I mean, speedrunners will absolutely eat that up. And I'm sure that
even if they don't have ammunition, if you can still use that if you don't have ammunition, that's absolutely
you will just be like leaping. Even if you don't terminate the enemy, you just use it to gap close. Shape those precious
multiple
seconds
gap close when in the air, like if you can shoot
detach,
and
then latch onto the next one. So chain. Who knows?
It seems to have don't get me wrong. It seems to have an almost Norse or I don't know, like a mythological theme going on. The enemies with axes. Yeah, you've got a sword.
It's becoming very heavy metal album cover, which it always was, but this is like more overtly so.
Kind of reminds me of Darksiders, but first person. I'm not complaining with that. But it like the world looks very like Hell on Earth. That's totally Darksiders 1. Yeah. You've got platformy bits, totally Darksiders 1, and then like a slew of demons. It's not complaining. It's just bringing a simile to it.
But and they've just made the guy even more lethal. He's now got shoulder mounted, flamethrower as well. It's got like is there any spots on him left that are not covered in weapons? Possibly not yet, but we're getting there. Soon they need to give him like spikes on the bottom of his boots so that you can just jump on enemies a la Mario and just
stamp them to death.
Yeah, you can just spike them through the top of the skull because he's just not an efficient enough killing machine, and he's pretty efficient as it is. Yes, that's right. With regards to the chain hook, I'm sure the modders will, once they get their hands on this, just mod it so that all the weapons have it, and that you can pull yourself in to even with a rocket launcher and like just splash damage yourself to death just for the lols, because why not?
I wonder if this trailer, in some bits, it seems to be quite fast. I wonder if that's actual gameplay or they've
speed it up, but I mean,
sassed it up a little bit.
The previous one was,
the previous one it seems like you could play that quite like the clip rate pace was very good.
The Doom guy, in comparison to other protagonists, has always had a very fast running speed. The only time he knows how to walk is in the cutscenes. Have you seen the cutscene where he's walking through the facility?
No.
There's a cutscene where it's doors open. And he's walking through. You start walking through this lab section, and they're like scientists minding their business, and they see the Doom guy, and they like shit their pants and they start backing off. And he just like walks through them, and like they're all like, they start panicking. And then there's this guy sitting by a monitor, and he's like minding his business, and he turns and sees the guy, and the guy grabs the key card that's hanging around his neck and pulls him, chainsaw attached, so he's like dragged over the monitor. And he pushes it onto the doors to open the doors, and then he just like walks to these like two beefy guys in armor, sort of massive guns, and they're like, who's this guy? And he just takes one of the guns off them. He doesn't say anything because obviously he doesn't speak. He just like, I'll have that gun. Takes the gun, and then just walks, and then like teleports himself. There's another section where they've got massive artillery guns because there's like giant space battle. They're fighting demons in space. Mm-hmm. He loads himself into one of these cannons and fires himself at high speed into a building or like a something because he's that hard. This larger than life thing. I have absolutely no problem with that because that's absolutely something he'd do. He is just a nutbar killing machine, and that's fine. But these other elements that they're adding to it becomes more game-like. Like the adding the fuel for the chainsaw. It was like the chainsaw added for fuel. Like who cares? It's a game. You're chainsawing demons from hell. It doesn't matter. But all of a sudden now you're finding cans of fuel scattered around conveniently. In hell, yeah, but
it's not in hell though. It's on Earth.
Well, it's on Earth, but there's also you apparently you go to heaven. You also go in Mars as well. There's a part you actually a heaven like stage where you perhaps fight angels because why the hell not, or why the heaven not? Fight everything. If it's not human, kill it. If it is human, kill it anyway because it probably turned into a demon at some point.
It's kind of strange. This is reminiscent of when we spoke about Rage 2. They've already lined up a whole slew of not only deluxe editions and pre-orders, skins, and all that other jazz, but Year 1 Pass includes DLC 1 and 2.
Ooh, extra levels. Have you seen what's called one of the things you can get the Doom helmets?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, but supposedly doesn't fit. How much does that cost though?
Oh yeah, I think somebody said it was like $200 or something.
At least.
Yeah.
Gee.
So it's in the realm of, the Pip-Boy version of Fallout 4.
Yeah. But if you love Doom that much, why the hell not?
Nobody should love.
It comes with a cassette tape. What the heck? So after about 20 plays, the tape gets chewed in your tape deck, and you're like, I'm going to have to buy another collector's edition.
Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal lossless digital soundtracks.
Lossless digital soundtracks
on a tape.
That's not lossless. that is the exact opposite of lossless. You cannot get any more lossy than you could go record if you want to lose even more, because then it's like mono. At least you get stereo on a cassette tape. But yeah, unless that's like a USB stick, cunningly disguised as a cassette player, which would be cool.
Cassette tape.
But if it's a cassette tape disguised as a cassette tape, that's like, no, I don't want that. It's like, you're giving me like MP3 files as well, right? Oh, yes, with lossless, it would be FLAC. You give me like FLAC or something.
Classic weapons soundtrack. Sound pack, sorry.
Oh, so you can make all the weapons sound like they're 1994 or 93 edition.
One of the other, for just the normal pre-order edition, is a skin for your shotgun, like an old school skin.
What they should do is they should have a thing where they make all the enemies bitmap. You can have like a secret bitmap mode, so it makes all the...
No.
Yeah, shut up.
Doom Demonic Slayer skin, classic weapons, sound pack. Yeah.
Throwback shotgun.
So I'm assuming the Demonic Slayer skin is for multiplayer, because they're like on the 2016 Doom, they're heavily focusing on multiplayer as well.
Well, yeah, multiplayer is always a good thing. Doot Revenant skin. Doot. What does that say?
000T.
What?
I don't know.
It's a Revenant skin. It's weird. I can imagine being able to. There's. Oot.
That's what it is. Oot, Revenant skin. So it's a Revenant monster with trumpets on his...
Instead of firing rockets, it just goes, mah, 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 and you're like... Then you just shoot him.
Yeah, if you're lucky, that's exactly what's going to happen.
That would be hilarious. That would totally be worth the cost of entry.
I'm a little bit blown away by this appearing on the Switch. Is that going to be in 540 as well?
No, it's going to be 900p.
Because if this can be 900p...
But you see, we had this discussion last time.
Yes.
The problem is the engine is not designed... It's a PC engine. It's not built for, RAM constraints. It's like, if this game doesn't play well, upgrade your PC because you don't deserve to play it otherwise.
Yeah, the game doesn't suck, you do.
Yeah. Your equipment sucks.
Your PC sucks.
Spend more money. I have reservations, but I do like to see how the franchise continues, because there's only so much times they can redo the whole go to Mars, go to hell, go to Mars, go to hell, go to Mars, go to hell, and this, although technically it doesn't matter where you are because Earth looks kind of like Mars hell anyway, because all the demons have taken over. So it's like, does it make a difference? It doesn't matter, because you're there to kill demons anyway. You don't care what the scenery looks like. You're there to punch demons in the face till they're dead. And isn't that really what life's all about?
Yeah, I mean, sure, why not?
Speaking of which, I need to go home and punch demons in the face. Right. Anything stand out for you from this batch of gaming goodness?
It was just more interesting stuff. in the last episode, we covered a lot of stuff that I'm going to follow, I'm going to keep an eye on, because it's stuff that it's games that I'm thinking I will buy eventually, if not immediately when they do come out, however long that is, to experience them myself. Whereas these are like the Outer Worlds,
just points of interest.
Sky, Children of Light, Doom, and Legend of Zelda. Unless something more happens with it, this will just be a point of interest.
Send us review copies.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's like something like Doom. I'm not going to sit there and watch somebody else play it.
Yeah,
because that doesn't entertain me.
It's a visceral experience.
It's something you have to play yourself.
Yeah,
you can't vicariously. It will not be the experience that you hope it would be. So, and then I mean, Sky, Children of Light. That's a possible buy, but I'll probably watch some of it and make my mind up eventually.
It depends. I mean, if it's coming out on mobile, it depends on it, because typically mobile games have always been pitched much lower in price. So if it comes out and it's like £5, I mean, that's probably worth a punt, purely because of the.
I think they'll probably wait till the PC port.
Okay, well, we'll see. They'll probably make it like $60 or something.
Right. I mean, the Outer Worlds, I'll probably watch that as a point of interest. If it gets my money, unless it's got something dramatically and a dramatic improvement. Because another thing they did say about going back to the interview that I saw when I originally saw the gameplay footage at E3 was something that they'd been trying to do throughout the Fallout series, when the couple of people that did come from that studio, was the gunplay. And you play a first-person shooter and it feels a certain way, like we've talked about before. And then if you play Fallout, it hasn't got that gunplay
because it's an RPG. It's numbers,
exactly,
not skill.
Yeah. So you kind of lose something in translation, whereas they've made steps to bridge the gap. So that side of it will be very interesting, because that shooting people in Fallout is at least 30% of the game.
Yeah,
with another 30% being exploration and another 30% being the story.
Yeah. So if a third of your game isn't up to scratch, it's not complete.
Exactly. So if they've really improved on that, which I hope they have, because maybe that will buck the trend for the next Fallout, or it will make another game more interesting because they could add in more elements like RPG, less skill tree based BS. Great. So yeah, in terms of stuff I'd buy, that's not. But yeah, definitely interesting stuff. Otherwise, we wouldn't be talking about it in the first place.
Yeah. Doom Eternal, I think I'll probably watch some speedrunner do it on nightmare mode, just to marvel at how insane it is and how insane they are for being able to pull off the godly feats of rapid fire murder. My point of interest would be the Sky Children of Light mini, because I am on a mobile gaming tier, and so it's something that would be more likely to come across. Obviously, the price point's got to be right, but yeah, the whole thing, because I never played Journey. Hopefully, it will come available on Epic Store for free. Possibly when Sky comes release, maybe Epic will wrangle that, because at the moment it's like, I think it's £14 or something, which is not too much, but it's like, I have games already, so I can't be spending more money to acquire games that I may not be able to play in time. Yeah,
Doom Eternal. November,
yes.
Coming out this year.
Yep.
Good news.
I'm looking forward to it.
Good times.
I'm looking forward to it. Okay, I think that sums it up. Any final thoughts?
E3 was interesting. Not the best E3, but then I suppose it's just the news.
Yeah, it's just news stump. And of course, we've got the PlayStation announcements, which will come out.
Don't really care.
That was the Digital Suffering Podcast. If you'd like to suffer some more, you can find other episodes on Red Circle, Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple iTunes, Stitcher, Radio Public, and SoundCloud. Please like and subscribe everywhere.